Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men, and tonight was no different on the 6th of January of Raw 2003. Cause Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men, baby oil. Triple H, Scott Steiner, it was baby oil getting rubbed on, there was judges, there was man tits, there was everything tonight, but at least there wasn't Al Wilson and his boner.
Well, he doesn't like them on dark and heat though, because we only had one match, and while I'm not denying that Tommy Dreamer is probably sweaty, I don't know if I would describe him as big, and he was taking on Aaron Aguilera, whoever the hell that is.
That's that Christiana Aguilera's brother or something?
Now, no idea who this guy is. Tommy Dreamer, though, picks up a win on heat or dark or whatever you want to call it.
Maybe Tommy Dreamer's a genie in a bottle, guys. But it's Raw kicks off with a video package. Triple H and Scott Steiner. Of course, last week it was the best of edition, so we've went a week without Raw.
Scott Steiner, though, has been booked pretty strong, I think, since coming into the company. They're treating him like he's a big deal, which they should. But, like we said in a previous video, it's a shame that DDP never got this sort of treatment. But then again, you could argue that DDP did get this treatment for a couple of months, and maybe after a couple of months, Scott Steiner's no longer getting it. So
absolutely.
Maybe it's just a thing where the WCW guys come in and they can't really... I mean, could you say the same about Goldberg when he came in? Is it a longevity thing?
I know, but Goldberg's still Goldberg for most of his run.
Did the WCW guys come in first with a head of steam and then just kind of fizzle out?
You could argue that with like Hall and Nash. I mean, when they came in initially with Hogan, they were big. A couple of months later, not so big. Anyway, let's talk about Eric Bischoff, another WCW guy. He says that 2003 will be the year of Eric Bischoff. He then welcomes the Dudleys out. He says, "Yous are going to be in a tag team match. Hell, handicap match." And it goes 2-on-2 to 4-on-2 to pretty much 7-on-2. You've got the Dudley boys taking on 3-minute warning. Rico, Batista, Flair, Morley, Bischoff. A pretty crazy match to kick off the show.
Yeah, it ended up being like 7-on-2. It was just a massive beatdown, and I liked it. The Dudley boys getting absolutely battled here, so yeah, respect.
King and JR couldn't repay the favour though, for whatever reason.
Yeah, King was contemplating maybe doing something about it, but
JR's like, "I'm retired."
I can't do shit, brother.
I can't do shit. Bischoff slapping Devon and Bubba across the face. They're laid out, they're crippled, they're absolutely done in. Batista looks $1 million, but it did feel a wee bit messy though.
Now, I remember a couple weeks ago, Spike came in and he was ranting to Bischoff because he screwed the Dudleys at the title. Do you think Spike's going to come back bigger, stronger, badder than ever?
Maybe not.
Where was Spike?
Is he going to challenge Triple H?
Could he not come down and made it 7-on-3?
He could have, and then out come Regal and Storm. They're bullying JR and King, and then you've got the Dudleys in the ring. It's just like the Dudleys are just lying there planked out for a good 15 minutes. It's like two dead bodies. Regal says he's humiliated a toe rag. Jim Ross beat me in the ring last week. So yeah, it was quite good. Regal and Storm then go to the ring and they just batter the Dudleys.
Great. William Regal, best wrestler for me to come out of Britain. Sorry, Drew McIntyre. Sorry, Roddy Piper. Even if you're, I don't even know if you count as British. Sorry, British Bulldog. For me, it's William Regal. I think it will always be William Regal. And the reason I'm saying that is because we've got to a period in wrestling now where it won't ever be good again. You're not going to get any stars. You're not going to get any guys that we consider legends. Will you maybe get the odd decent person that comes through between now and the end of time? I mean, possibly. But no one's going to come and overtake Regal. Certainly not Will Ospreay.
No.
Slut.
You slag! But 7-on-2 became a 9-on-2 when these two came out. I guess everyone else had was gone, but...
Yeah, so 7-on-2 became 2-on-2, but there wasn't much left of the original.
I'm guessing the Dudleys are being written out here. I'm not expecting them to see him on next week's Raw.
Aye, so the Dudleys here got absolutely battered. Backstage, we had Triple H and Ric Flair with Scott Steiner. Triple H is looking at himself in the mirror. Flair enters. "You're looking good." Triple H just said, "I'm the man. My muscles, my arms, almost as big as my nose, buddy." And then Scott Steiner shows up and said he's already kicked Triple H's ass in arm wrestling. Tonight he's going to do it at the Posedown and then at the Royal Rumble. So nice wee threat there for Scott Steiner. Then we've got a Divas tag team match. Trish Stratus and Jacqueline taking on Molly Holly and Victoria. Victoria pins Trish after Richards interfered. So, yeah, Stevie Richards being the difference maker here. Victoria also had Trish's tights as well. So, it's a win for Victoria and Molly Holly.
It was a better women's match. I feel like recently they've been really poor. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably.
Very sloppy. That match at Armageddon was awful.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest one ever. Terry and then Booker T was backstage with Goldust. Booker talks about 2023. He makes fun of Bischoff, and Booker thinks that 2023 is going to be his year. But backstage, we see Bischoff and Morley. They're not happy. Bischoff says that is exactly the disrespect that he's not going to put up with, and that Booker will be punished for this, and he'll probably be punished by losing a title.
Racism here from Eric Bischoff.
Then we got Jericho and Shawn Michaels in a promo. Jericho says that ever since WrestleMania last year, he's dreamed of regaining the world title. Jericho says he's going to enter the 2023 Royal Rumble and he will win it. Shawn Michaels came out and basically kind of put over Jericho, but then run him down, saying that he can't do something that Shawn Michaels done, and that is enter number 1 and win the Royal Rumble. But Jericho's not really falling for it. Jericho says, you just want me to enter first to get me out the game so that I can't win, because it's pretty much impossible to win from number 1. Jericho says that he done something that Michaels will never do, and that is beat The Rock and Steve Austin in the same night to become the world champion. Michaels wants Jericho, though, to prove he's the best, volunteer to be number 1. Michaels tells Jericho if he doesn't, then he will. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's weird that these two guys are battling about who wants to enter number 1. Randy Orton comes out. He's fully healed. He said he's 99% healed. Usually it's been about 30%, 25% in that ballpark. But he's here. He's got big news. 93% mobility. And I'm going to be entering the Royal Rumble when I'm 100%. He says, Sean, you're not a sexy boy anymore because there's a new sexy boy in town. And it's me, damn it. It's Randall Keith Orton. There was a pretty funny line between King and JR here. Michaels then starts punching Randy Orton, falls to the mat. Jericho goes after Michaels. Christian runs down, then Van Damme and Kane make the save. Good Royal Rumble build.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say Randy Orton's boring. I'm finding this version of Randy Orton pretty interesting.
I think Randy Orton ain't boring. I think it's just, I don't know what it is. Like, I think he does, like, recently in WWE, he poured, like, Prime over KSI, and he's like, that tastes pretty good. I think WWE, they almost take Orton for granted and have him do fuck all sometimes. I think when he bees himself, he can be really entertaining. But I think there's other points, like, this guy's so boring.
Do you think it's because they just assume at times he's Randy Orton and he's been there for, like, almost, 2 decades, that he doesn't need to do anything because him being Randy Orton alone is good enough?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Randy Orton's like best heel run's probably like in 2009, right? But I would say his worst run is pretty much straight after that. You don't turn shite overnight, folks.
No.
It's just the way they position you. So,
but I like this version of Randy Orton, so yeah, I'm digging it. We then get a tag team title match. Booker T and Goldust taking on Regal and Storm. And of course, Eric Bischoff gets his revenge because Morley comes down. Morley's going to be the new referee because the original referee got taken out. Morley refuses to count for Booker T. He ain't counting for Bookdust. He doesn't want them to win the titles. Eventually, we get a cover on Booker T and Goldust after they get whacked with William Regal's brass knucks, and this time Sean Morley is more than happy to count to 3. 1, 2, 3 to be exact, and we have new tag team champions, William Regal and Lance Storm. My question is, would Sean Morley in 2024 count a 3 count for Lance Storm, knowing how much of a massive lefty that he is?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think so.
I think he'd definitely go Booker T's way.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know about Goldust, like it's a bit debatable, but
you'd have to probably cover his eyes with Goldust. But here, we like Sean Morley on this YouTube channel.
I've love and respect for Foul Phoenix. Hello, subscribers.
Oh.
Anyway, backstage we see Bischoff, Morley, Storm, and Regal. They're all celebrating. Regal says it's going to be an honour to represent Raw as the tag team champions. Then we got Test with Stacey versus Nowinski with D'Lo. Really don't need to see another shitty down with the brown Test match. Thankfully, this one lasted like 2 minutes, so it is what it is. Nowinski asks D'Lo to be in his corner tonight because he's an intelligent black man, but it didn't really do Nowinski much help because he lost.
Yeah, he did lose, and Nowinski. I actually like D'Lo Brown this whole storyline, but it felt very similar to the Test match 2 weeks ago, where they just redone it. But does what it says on the tin. You've got Chris Jericho, Christian, Orton backstage, and again, Orton's entertaining here. He's not boring. He fits in. And then you can see immediately that Randy Orton's going to be something in the business.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy. He's not going to be someone that just fades away, I don't think.
No, he's not. But
If
talking
someone has like a year run, then you never see them again.
talking to someone that should fade away, I'm not saying I had great memories of this Posedown, right? But I just remembered it being better than this. You've got Triple H and Steiner. Now, apparently the 5 wrestlers are from local Impact Zone Wrestling. Considering the fact we're in, Phoenix, Arizona, I believe, I don't see how this can be TNA, so it must just be some other company. It's called Impact Zone Wrestling.
Now, apparently Mike Knox
I have seen that.
was one of these judges. Outlaw Mike Knox. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Sadly, this wasn't interesting. You've got Coach saying, right, do a front double bicep, a side chest, a most muscular, a leg snazzy wazzy, a big boy arm maneuver. It's fucking gay. I mean,
Maybe if you're into your muscle and fitness, you thought this was entertaining, you thought this was good. But for me, I didn't really enjoy it, and it didn't really have a comedy feeling to it either.
No.
Like, the arm wrestling had a comedic element to it where Steiner's basically just letting Triple H win.
The biggest problem with this is, for me, is I think you can do this, right? I wouldn't have been a fan of it even if it was short, but it was long. It was about 20 minutes, and it didn't need 20 minutes. You could have done it in half the time, man.
Yeah, it was a little bit drawn out. Triple H...
But even when they're asking them for the scoreboard, it's like 1 mile an hour, they're holding up the Cerebral Assassin logo. It's like, fucking just get on with it.
Yeah, and Triple H won every single vote, so for every pose, Triple H won. Everyone was voting for Triple H. Scott Steiner doesn't really agree with it. We don't really agree with it. Commentators don't really agree with it. Crowd didn't really agree with it. But the 6 guys thought that Triple H was the man. They then start doing push-ups because Scott Steiner says, I know that you can't beat me in push-ups. So they start doing the push-ups, and then the 6 guys attack Steiner. Triple H is laughing, but then he quickly retreats after Steiner just turns the tables and starts beating down the 6 guys. So again, Steiner looking strong here, taking down 6 men as Triple H and Flair make their way to the back, and Steiner no happy here. He's livid.
He's livid.
He realises that he's been robbed here at this competition and that this was pretty much a setup.
Yeah, and you can see that Scott Steiner, he won the arm wrestle. He pretty much did win this if he didn't get rigged. You can see where the Royal Rumble's going, folks. He's not winning, alright? Triple H's going to win with his big nose, and it was just a bit... I like Steiner, but you can clearly see they're limiting him. They're not giving him like 20 minutes on the mic.
No.
And that's not for sure. But then we got a main event. We got Jericho
Unfortunately.
and Christian. Yeah, with Randy Orton taking on Van Dam, Kane and Michaels. That's a star-studded main event. I mean, and that's like your mid-card.
Yep, your mid-card.
You're like your upper mid-card, because obviously you got the title fight. Good match. Orton and Michaels get involved. It was good seeing Michaels lay out. At this point, though, Michaels isn't like wrestling on Raw. He had that one match against Van Dam, but they are like keeping him for pay-per-views. He's almost got like a part-time schedule. Would you agree with that?
Maybe they're easing them in slowly.
Easing them in slowly before they give us 5-star matches every week. Isn't that right, Dave Meltzer? But yeah, Kane and Van Dam win the match. And then weirdly, we cut backstage and end the show with Bischoff receiving a phone call while in the presence of Morley, Storm and Regal. He's like, oh dear, it's Vince McMahon.
Oh no.
Even though it's Bischoff, not Regal, speaking. But yeah, Bischoff says McMahon's going to be here next week. He tells his boys that it was Vincent Kennedy McMahon. When was the last time we seen McMahon?
It's been a while, but does this mean that Bischoff's in charge? I mean, does this mean that Bischoff's in trouble? Does Vince not like the job that Eric is doing as GM of Monday Night Raw?
Eric.
We'll have to wait and see. What business does McMahon have? We don't know. We will find out next week, though. And that's it, guys, for Monday Night Raw. So, yeah, the Posedown for me just lasted way too long. Wasn't a big fan of it. The mid-card stuff was pretty good. We seen the Jericho promo and stuff like that was alright, and we seen the Dudleys get beat down. I mean, it was an okay episode of Raw. I'm going to get a 6 out of 10. Well, I give SmackDown a 6 out of 10, I'll give Raw a 6
Yeah,
out of 10.
I'm going to give us a 6 out of 10 in here. We love segments, right? But you can just imagine the marks in this time period who would have fucking hated this Triple H segment.
I mean...
They already hate Triple H. Fire him in this segment.
How many stars do you think Meltzer gave this Posedown?
Negative.
Negative 5.5 stars, buddy.
Anyway, guys, 6 out of 10. Till next time. Peace.